What in the fuck is up, y'all? It's your boy Winston motherfucking Wolf. I'm back, and before we get started, just take your little goddamn fiddly digits down below the screen, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, help your boy out. Stop acting like you don't know me. Stop acting brand new. I do a lot of shit for you. I ain't about to throw it in your face right now, but goddamn, just do that for me. Shit, Jesus Christ, motherfucker. But anyways, I want to get into this review. It's for a documentary I had the privilege of watching today. It is called L.A.Originals. It's on Netflix. It's about the tattoo artist / artist, Mr. Cartoon, and his partner. Let me get his name right because I had to write it down. L.A.Originals. And the crazy thing about this is that, man, L.A.Originals, he's a photographer that was Mr. Cartoon's partner. And he's done so much shit that you don't realize that his name should be right up there with Mr. Cartoon. Done a lot of album covers, magazine covers, just a lot of great photography that you've seen that's influenced a lot of other photographers and artists and everything. So, and it was cool though that it wasn't just about Mr. Cartoon. It also had Estevan. Let you know that this was kind of a two-man operation, and they worked well together. And that because like a lot of times they'll focus on one artist or one person, whatever, in a documentary, and they'll tend to leave somebody out that was integral to that person's, did I use that word right? Integral? Yeah, I used it right. To that person's success, that they didn't just do it alone. And a lot of times they leave out people that deserve to kind of get their props. And in this, they give props to everybody that deserve props. And man, the one thing I took away from, let me just get started. If you didn't know Mr. Cartoon, he's a world famous tattoo artist. He's got his own style. And the crazy thing about it is that with this interview or with this documentary, you don't realize how many other artists, how many other corporations, just everything have bit his style, and that everybody kind of owes him a fucking check. He's influenced not only just tattoo artists or gang culture, but he's influenced society just with how his ideas have been stolen or borrowed or influenced, however you want to put it, by major corporations. But so it gets into his career. Pretty much, it's very hip hop related. Because they're kind of the ones, hip hop artists are kind of the ones that they would shout his name out in songs. They would put him in the videos. It kind of became a thing. It was like, if you don't get your tattoo from Cartoon, your tattoo ain't shit. If you can't afford a fucking tattoo from Mr. Cartoon, you broke ass motherfucker and you ain't shit. But one of the things that I was fucking pleasantly surprised to see is that early on in the film they mentioned something that Estevan worked on, that he shot the cover of the album, is for the Penthouse Players Clique. And nobody fucking talks about them, man. Fucking growing up, that was kind of like one of the dopest underground albums. Penthouse Players Clique was a group. It was Tweed Cadillac, and it was, oh my god, who was the other dude? Oh, fuck. Player Ham and Tweed Cadillac, and they had a group together called the Penthouse Players Clique. It also had Eazy-E. It was put out on Ruthless Records, and DJ Quick produced every track on it. And that shit banged, and no one talks about it today. I don't know who owns the rights to it. Someone needs to re-release it. That shit is one of the dopest West Coast albums of all time. But they talk about that, and I was just like, oh shit, because it's kind of one of those. Everybody has a group that they like, or an artist that they like. That no one. They feel like no one listened to them except for them. And then they just kind of disappeared and no one ever talks about it. And you still listen to them to this day. And PPC, the Penthouse Players Clique, that's my group right there that everyone has forgot about for years and no one talks about, but I still bang on the regular. So, pause on that. But I still listen to on the regular. So, I was hyped about that. And the whole thing about, and another thing, because I'm into wrestling too, goddamn, somebody needs to do a documentary about Sabu similar to this, the pro wrestler Sabu, because he's the originator of a lot of fucking shit. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look up his shit. And Sabu, a lot of people took his style, took different elements, sometimes took a whole lot, sometimes took a little lot, and became fucking millionaires, multi-millionaires. And this dude just really doesn't have anything. And I mean, a perfect example is I used to live in Lansing, and that's where Sabu lives, Lansing, Michigan. Maybe about 6 or 7 years ago. It was around then. I was down by Lansing Community College campus, and if you know anything about that, that's kind of a shitty area. around there. There's a lot of fucking. It's not really a good area, and there's some streets that are really bad. But there's a fucking liquor store, and I remember I was leaving, and he pulled up in the passenger seat. It's a fucking fucked up ass fucking Cavalier with some dude fucking driving, and he did not look good. And it's just looking over at him, man, I wanted to be like, hey, Sabu, but it definitely wasn't an appropriate time to do that. But somebody needs to do a documentary about Sabu, like how this is. How they just point out with Mr. Cartoon how many rappers have used his art. They didn't copy, they paid him for it, but just how influential he is to how these people did it. And then other people's like, who the fuck did that? Because I want that same thing. Oh, Mr. Cartoon, bam. And I mean, album covers, everything. And then his boy Estevan, it would be like Cartoon would do the logo for the artist or whatever, and then Estevan would, shoot the photos that would go on the inside of the CDs or the promotional shit. So they would work together, graphic artist and photographer. And of course, Mr. Cartoon in this documentary, they go over all the many celebrities and cultural icons that he's done tattoos for. But yeah, I'd like to see something like this about Sabu, that kind of where somebody points out, because with this documentary, even if they don't say it with words, they flip through and they'll just show you as someone's talking. They'll be like, fucking bam, he did the logo for this, did the logo for this, did the logo for this, did the cover art for this, did this right here, and then fucking Estevan, he shot this picture, he shot this right. So even without stopping and talking about each individual thing that they did that has just become iconic through, music artists' logos that they still use to this day, shit like that, they flip through to make sure that they show it at least. So you can see, you're like, God damn, they are fucking prolific. Like, Jesus Christ, I did not fucking realize. But I wish somebody, again, I'm repeating myself, but if somebody did something like this with Sabu and then just kind of intercut it with shit that other people have stole from him and then the stuff that he did, so you can just kind of get an idea of, damn, this dude is an innovator, man, and he really deserves his props. But anyways, I don't want to get too off topic. But another thing that one of the few things I'm disappointed with this documentary that they didn't bring up, and I might have got to go to the bathroom, I don't know if they might, but it had to have been real quick if they did, but I'm pretty sure they didn't include it, is those homies. Do you remember those things that you get in the little vending machines, like when you're coming in or leaving the fucking grocery store or whatever? And there were these little ass fucking figures, these little fucking cholo figures, and they would have they fucking look like little gang members and shit. But and people would collect them, and I mean everybody fucking collected them. It's probably the early 2000s. Probably from 2000 to 2004, you saw them at fucking damn near every store. Fucking kids, adults, everybody tried to collect all of them. Homies was a big thing, and then you started seeing posters for the homies. Like, it became bigger than those little toys, because I remember they had posters in FYE. They had different merchandise, even besides the little figures. So, and obviously, I mean, Cartoon, as far as I know, had nothing to do with those, but if it wasn't for his artwork and Estevan's photography, and then bringing that whole fucking Mexican gang member culture, for lack of a better fucking term, to the forefront into popular culture, they wouldn't have had those little action figures. And those was a goddamn phenomenon. And I think they've had documentaries about those the homie figures, about how fast they became popular and then how they just died out. So I don't know. I mean, everybody had some homies. That's, you know what I'm saying? What, you had 3 or you had 10 or you had 20, everybody had some in their fucking, sitting on their fucking windowsill in their fucking room. So I kind of disappointed they didn't bring that up. But yeah, just the sheer amount of fucking hip hop fucking and rock group logos that fucking Cartoon did is just fucking amazing. And you still see it today, and they're still using it today. The last interesting thing I want to bring up is that near the end of the documentary, they kind of get into their, I don't want to say downfall, but to where they weren't as big as they were. They weren't making as much money with their business, with their photography / graphics business / tattooing business, is the 2008 crash of the economy. And that's crazy that this documentary comes out and they talk about that. Not a whole lot, but it's pretty much in the end, and you know that leads to what they're doing now, where they're just kind of just on, you know, they're still doing their thing, but on the low. They're not doing it, of course, at the level that they were because everything changed. But But it's just crazy that everything that we're going through now with the economy, and then this documentary comes out where they talk about that. I don't know. I don't really have much to say on it, but it's just one of those things where you're just like, damn, yo, this is... The economy crashing is becoming fucking scarily, I don't even know if that's a word, scarily more frequent than anybody wants to fucking deal with, because it's just fucks a lot of shit up, and fucking artists tend to get hit the hardest because... Shit, let's face it, man. People don't really consider fucking art an essential thing that they need to put money towards. And, you know, I mean, if you think about it, you got to pay for your food, utilities, and all that shit. But goddamn, you know what I'm saying? We can't let it get to a fucking point in society to where art isn't important. Art always has to be important. Art expands our brains. It shows what, you know, creative people can do. It's art, man. Art is art. I can't explain it. It's beyond explanation. You know, it's what you feel inside. It shows what a person has inside of them. It shows what possibilities of certain things can be. Art is art. Art can be everything. Art is everything. So, if you get a chance, check out this documentary. Like I said, it's on Netflix. It's called L.A.Originals. It's about the great Mr. Cartoon and the great, let me get his name right again, Esteban Oriol, the photographer. And it's your boy Winston Wolf, and I'm out.